Yeah, I'm fine. Why you ask me that?
Fighting demons! I feel like dying every season!
Hi everyone, I'm Dom Griffin, I'm a film critic, and you're watching the Armchair Auteur. This is an ongoing video series I do where we talk about new movies, old movies, screenplay analysis, that sort of thing, so if you like movies and film culture and you like to see people pick those things apart, please consider subscribing. Today I'm going to be talking about the pilot episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the newest MCU set Disney Plus series following in the wake of Wandavision. No spoilers, no spoilers, no spoilers. I recently talked a little bit about Wandavision on the channel here, and how I enjoyed the first 3 episodes that aired and how much fun I found the experimental classic TV homages to be, but that I was absolutely dreading when the show would inevitably turn back into a typical MCU production. I stuck with the show week to week and continued enjoying it even when it did, inevitably, turn into a typical MCU production. But even though I was severely underwhelmed by the finale, I was so charmed by the show's efforts at trying something new and the work of its 2 leads that I was still pretty smitten overall. Not as groundbreaking or as mind-blowing as some of the MCU stands would have you believe, but still, nice little show. But WandaVision wasn't intended to be Marvel's first Disney Plus show. It was The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And honestly, thank God it didn't play out that way. Going into this new phase of the MCU, I think the Marvel agnostic viewpoint on these new shows was that they were basically going to be serializing movie concepts that weren't strong enough to hold their own at the multiplex. And because of the pandemic and schedules reshuffling, Wandavision debuted, a show with maybe the lowest bar of expectation of the entire slate, and overperformed by being, in its own little way, a more daring entry into the franchise. It made for perfect destination viewing for audiences by being a big mystery, by teasing out the potential for some of the weirder fan theories to maybe be correct, and by changing things up, however minutely, from the usual MCU format. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier isn't like that. At all. I won't get into spoilers or even really into talking about plot because I know how some of y'all get about that type of thing, but suffice to say the show, as predicted, feels like a spiritual successor from the lineage the Russos began in Winter Soldier and later Civil War, adapting the elements of the Captain America mythology that suit the big screen best. Namely, melding the superhero genre to the visual language of the political spy thriller. But it's been years since Winter Soldier felt like such a breath of fresh air, so we're no longer susceptible to the fallacy that it's in some way influenced by Alan J. Pakula or whatever. Director Kari Skogland avails herself well with an introductory action sequence that's pretty thrilling for the budget, and goes a long way to making the show feel like the live-action equivalent of a particularly inspired superhero cartoon series, using action set pieces to make the scope feel bigger than your TV set. But after that, it becomes incredibly obvious that this show, from its pilot alone, is little more than warmed over Winter Soldier B-sides, doing a firm enough job of establishing where Sam and Bucky are in their respective arcs, and teasing out the idea of the 2 teaming up in future episodes. But there's little here to grab hold of to make you want to tune back in week to week. Coming off the heels of the fandom frothing themselves into a lather over any number of insane swerves with their ultimately incorrect fan theories, there's nothing in this new show to suggest that this more grounded, less fantastical narrative is going to have room for any of the fan service and nesting doll Easter eggs WandaVision provided. And while that show took 3 episodes to really get going, the fun diversion of its Nick at Night pastiche kept people engaged while they waited to get to the fireworks factory. But nothing is established in the first outing of this new show to tide viewers over until the next installment. It truly feels structured more like the first issue of a comic book, where readers are used to waiting months between chapters, or the first half hour of an MCU movie where they can, sit and wait for the rest of it to happen. It doesn't help that as much as I like Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, both do not have a ton to work with here. Their central performances are solid, but not spectacular, and as much as I want to hope it'll be more exciting when they link up later, the trailers have given us no reason to believe it'll be anything more interesting than flat Hobbs and Shaw cosplay. The truth is, there's only one element about this show that gives me a glimmer of hope that it could end up doing something useful to stand out, but historically speaking, it is also the one element of the show that is almost guaranteed to get hobbled in execution. Creator Malcolm Spellman has talked a lot in promotional interviews about how he wants the show to explore being black in America, and what it could mean for Sam to pick up the mantle of being Captain America and protect a country that doesn't value him for the color of his skin. But without spoiling anything, the show's initial hints at unpacking these themes feel blunt and insufficient. Given the awkward politics of the MCU in general, and how both Winter Soldier and Civil War stumbled with truly understanding the implications of their comic book narratives, with regards to the surveillance state and using Hydra, a Nazi stand-in, as a band-aid to excuse American imperialism, it's just kind of hard for me to believe this show will fare much better. In all likelihood, it will follow in the footsteps of Damon Lindelof's Watchmen adaptation, a strong show with inventive storytelling whose politics could have stood to be a little more clearly thought out. There are things I'm looking forward to in future episodes, like seeing Daniel Bruhl back as Baron Zemo and getting some face time with Wyatt Russell as John Walker. But for now, it seems a shame that WandaVision was 2 steps forward when this new show feels like 2 steps back. But hey, at least the Snyder Cut's out today, right? That's my take on the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It comes out on Disney Plus tomorrow. It'll be out, I think, 1 episode a week. It's 6 episodes. Maybe it'll get better, maybe it'll be cooler, maybe I'm not giving it a fair shake, but like, I went into Wandavision with low expectations and ended up really having a good time and enjoying myself. I went into this show with even lower expectations and still found myself kind of unimpressed. But who knows? We'll see what happens week to week. I'm probably not going to be doing any future episode recaps or anything, but if you guys follow me on Twitter or anywhere else, you'll probably see my continuing thoughts about the show as it airs. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you get notifications when I put out new videos. And yeah, if you have any thoughts about this, you want to argue with me about superheroes or whatever, you can do so in the comments below. Love talking to all you guys. Other than that, I hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, being good to yourselves and each other, wearing your masks, hopefully getting vaccinated. I will see you guys around. Bye.